Hello, I'm Doug McKenzie for Fintech Finance here at the FF Studio. Now today we're going to be asking some community style questions from you, our audience, to two thought leaders right at the heart of the industry. So joining us here today over in Tower Bridge, we have Meniga's Georg Ludviksson and thought leader Dennis Khoo, who are going to be answering some of your most anticipated questions. Take it away, guys.
Let me put on my glasses. What are some examples of the best digital banking launches you've seen? Well, we've been talking about that all of this afternoon, right? But besides Tomorrow by UOB, I think some of the rest of the ones that, from my research, really break through, Kakao, Kakao Bank, We Bank, My Bank, in China, Nu Bank, Starling, here in the UK. I think these are all examples of companies that have really breakthrough experience.
It's exciting. What are the biggest mistakes banks make in their digital transformation journey? Well, there are several, but I think what I'll mention here is not keep iterating after they launch something. That to me is like the saddest thing. You spend a lot of energy and effort to launch often a great solution, and sometimes with 10% extra effort by listening to feedback after you launch, you can maybe double or triple the impact, and that happens too rarely.
Let's take one of the pink ones. What is your favorite bank? Well, it must be Tomorrow by UOB since I built and designed it, right?
What is the next big thing in digital banking? I think to me that's the transformation that is already underway, but I think we're only scratching the surface yet. From digital banks to be transactional into be much smarter advisors in a more broader sense than I think most people think about banks as. So with all that data, if you get it right, you can really help people become smarter consumers. And with time, I think you don't choose your bank, you choose your smart advisor, which will then maybe choose your bank for you.
Right. You're picking all the more difficult questions. I'm getting the easier ones. What is the craziest feature you have seen in a digital bank? Well, again, one of the features that, frankly, I thought, had a chance of not working, right, was this savings game we created, right? And it was a big hit in Thailand. They simply loved it, right? Every time you save more money, the CD grows bigger. But actually, interestingly, when we tested it in Singapore, they didn't like it. They were saying, don't tell me how to save. So it varies by country.
What's your favorite feature you've seen inside a digital bank? So I'm not the typical user, I'm a personal finance nerd. So I'm a big fan of like algorithmic type features where I have a lot of control. For example, if I can do a conditional transfer in the future, depending on the balance will be, and some banks have these features. So I'll name these, that gives you a lot of control. But I'm in a minority, I realize that.
How do you measure if your digital bank is successful? Well, the first key measure we've been talking about all day, right, is really what's your Net Promoter Score, which is really a representation of how many advocates you have. And these advocates are the ones that are promoting you because your experience is so good. And that, I think, is the first key measure. And then, of course, you can look at things like how many active customers do you have, what about your revenue per customer? Does it exceed the cost of acquisition and your service cost per customer and so on? But these would be the first three I would look at.
What are the key steps to building a successful digital bank?
I think you're getting all the difficult ones.
So I think that's what Dennis's book is all about. I think to name just one, organizational design. Think about the process. That's more important than technology. And how are you going to execute? Execution is more important than where am I going?
The last question. What is the last question? How do you foster culture of innovation during digital transformation in banking? This is a topic that's actually covered in my recent publication, The Playbook. And I think it's really about building the environment, right? And I'll give a short answer here, right? One of the rules I set was always that the most junior person should always ask why. Why are we going to do it this way, right? And the most senior person must not get annoyed and not invite the person to the next meeting. The most senior person must actually find the answer or say, no, we don't know what the answer is and we're going to find out. And this very simple thing about what I call the rule of why, right, creates an environment where there's sufficient challenge. No matter your seniority, right, if you don't make sense, you don't make sense, right? And this is a very fundamental ingredient to foster innovation, because innovation cannot come about if people don't question things, right? Then your innovation cannot stand the right test. You will fail very quickly when it's launched. So this is a very fundamental thing, but I think it's very, very powerful.